think as they were getting closer and closer, I was like, this is definitely within reach. And so I just powered down that home stretch and I was able to catch them.
And you were first?
It wasn't like this lower heat, but we won the race.
I have Hannah Rutherford on the handoff. Wow! Getting the really, really powerful fast runners these days. Hannah, you are the first Mountain View guest we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I really thank you for that. And you are also our first pure female sprinter.
Oh, wow, really? That's exciting.
No, we have not had a pure female sprinter. So you could even say you're the first pure sprinter. Roman Johnson is a sprinter, and he was on, but he also plays football.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that kind of leads me to one of my questions. Did you come from soccer?
Yeah, so I actually did play soccer starting in kindergarten all the way through freshman year. I will say I was never really that like technically good. My speed was definitely like my best asset, and like that translates better on the track, but it was a fun time for sure.
Well, soccer is just like the ultimate sprint training, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just do it over and over again, blasting after that ball. Did you run all 4 years?
Yeah, I did. My freshman year, I was a 3-sport athlete, so I played tennis in the fall, soccer in the winter, and then track in the spring. And then from my sophomore through senior year, I just played tennis in the fall and track in the spring.
Okay. All right. And you went to school from 2022 to 2025. You graduated!
I did, finally.
Yay!
It took a while, but...
All right. So why did you take up sprinting in particular?
I was first introduced to the sport in 4th grade. There was like an elementary like district competition called the Junior Olympics. Mostly track events. There's like some random competitions like standing long jump and like pull-ups thrown in. But basically it's just a chance for 7 elementary schools to get together and everyone to kind of like get a sense of that like competitive spirit. And yeah, I really love the environment, the feeling it gave me, and that was really how I got my start. Yeah, I was planning to run track in middle school, but COVID wiped out both years. I was just kind of training on my own a little bit alongside my dad.
A lot of casualties from COVID. So I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you, what events do you run?
My main events are the 400 meter and the 200 meter. I also run the 100, mostly just in dual meets for like some speed work. I dabbled in the 800 a little bit my junior year. I definitely think there's a lot more potential there. I didn't quite get the race strategy down. And then, yeah, I also run both relays, or I did in high school.
If it's cool with you, I could drive right into your PRs and records.
Yeah, sounds good.
I love that picture you sent me of you just showered in medals. Oh gosh. Okay. I have here that your 100 meter, you did that this year in 11.87, and that is a first place record for Mountain View, correct?
Mm-hmm. I've been gunning for that 100 meter record for a while. Didn't get it freshman, sophomore, junior year. I think it was our first meet of the year. I think I'd really been working on my start and just managed to finally get that record, which was really satisfying.
Do you feel like, so for the 200 meter, you have a record and it's 23.88, but that was last year.
It was, yeah.
Do you feel that there's not much difference between how fast you are this year and last year? Like, do you feel like you're done growing or you have more growing to do?
I definitely hope there's more room for improvement. I think this year, between some injuries I was dealing with and the general chaos of senior year, I just unfortunately wasn't really able to get to the level I wanted to. I didn't really achieve any of my goals other than the 100 meter record. It was a good learning curve for me. I would say up until that point, I had been kind of just plugging along, getting consistently better. But I really had to learn this year that not everything is going to go my way. And that's just the way that sport works.
So your 400 meter, you have the first place record, but again, that was last year, and that's 53.7. That's faster than Jordan.
I would say the 400 is definitely my best event. Yeah, I think that was at state finals last year. And yeah, I would definitely say that's one of my prouder accomplishments in the sport.
Do you know what the women's Olympic record for the 400 is?
Ooh, the Olympic record? There's definitely some suspicious times from East Germany in the 1980s. The world record I know is 47.6. Olympic record is maybe low 48, somewhere on there.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, though.
Still, you're not that far away. And then here I have your 800 meter. You did that in 2:14.22. And again, that was last year.
I actually ran the 800 at an all-comers after my sophomore season, and I ran a little bit faster then. I think it was high 213s, 213.8. I don't think that was an athletic done that, though. But that was against, it was an open field, so I was running against guys. But yeah, I think I only ever ran the 800 officially my junior year, so I didn't run it at all this year. I mentioned this earlier, but there's definitely room for improvement there. I found the 400 more challenging than the 800, which I think just means I wasn't running the 800 hard enough because I've heard it's supposed to be brutal.
Really? Yeah, I always perceive the 800 to be one of the most ugly events. It's not a long run, it's a long sprint, or it's 2 sprints back to back. If you want a good recommendation, watch Taran's Handoff. He has a really fascinating explanation about how to do the 800. He said, forget times. Like, he was taught that if you don't make 58 on your first lap, you're not going to break too. And he did not make that time on his first lap, but then he said, forget it. And he just said, I'm going to win. He went and he focused on the people, and he got ahead of everybody, and he was like 59. He broke two.
Okay.
And he did not hit 58 on his first lap. So that's a really good podcast to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I'll check that one out.
Are there any races you want to share? And I find that interesting because when you're sprinting, I mean, it's just, you get all amped up and then you just blast, right? There's not a lot of experience to go into. Are there any races you'd be interested in sharing with us?
Yeah, I would say my best meet, I would say, of my high school career is top 8 for my junior year. I ran 53.77 in the 400 and 23.88, which is still my PR in the 200. Something was in the air that day. I don't think I've ever had 2 races that successful. So yeah, I'd be happy to share that one. I would say my favorite meet, or my favorite race of this year, would be actually a 4x4. That was also at top 8, but I was able to close I think a 50 to 60 meter gap back from 4th place to 1st. I look back on that one fondly for sure.
When you did that, did you surprise yourself?
For the 4x4 or just for...
Yeah, for the 4x4.
Yeah, when I got the baton, I was like, there's no way I'm closing this gap. Like, that's just not happening. Yeah. But I went out really hard. I was like, I can at least catch the girl in 3rd place because I was in 4th when I got the baton. And so I passed her, I think, halfway down the back stretch. And then I noticed the girls in 1st and 2nd were getting closer. And I was like, okay, maybe there's a possibility. Yeah, I just fought really hard. I think as they were getting closer and closer, I was like, this is definitely within reach. And so I just powered down that home stretch and I was able to catch them.
And you were first?
It wasn't like this lower heat, but we won the race.
So wait, let me get this straight. You went from 4th to 1st on your... Oh, wow, that must have been so fun.
It was.
That must have felt amazing. Yeah, I have down here, started to notice you just this year. and that does bring me to the other thing that we noticed. And we really are in awe of your humility.
Thank you.
You are all business. You are all business. You know, there was that girl, do you know who I'm talking about? There was a girl, she took a fire extinguisher and hosed off her shoes.
Yeah, I was actually in that race.
You were in that race? No way! Yeah. What did you place?
I placed 3rd. She won, and then she got disqualified, so I got moved up to 2nd.
Yeah, what was her name?
Clara Adams.
Yeah, I think my wife follows her. To be honest, I think that was a little harsh. At the same time, you know, again, big admiration toward you. You never have done anything like that. You smoke everybody. I've seen you do it again. In fact, a lot of the pictures I have of you are totally out of focus. Why? Because I was photographing some Milpitas person, and you're like way up here, and they're like way back there, like 40 yards behind you. You know, you just I've seen you in so many races where you just destroyed the race, and everybody just kind of trickles in after you. You really are amazing to watch. You're so explosive.
Thank you.
What's your headspace like before a race?
I'm definitely the type of person to get really nervous before my races. I think I do put a lot of pressure on myself to perform well. I usually am kind of like away on my own before my race. I'll be listening to music or reading a book or something to really stay calm and also stay locked in. I would say this year I started to give myself like a little more grace and just like really instilling the idea that my performance isn't going to define my worth. Like a single bad race isn't the end of the world. And I think that did help me kind of learn how to enjoy races a little bit more. But yeah, I think there's definitely a lot to work on mentally speaking. I think that's something I'll try to work on throughout college with the support I'll be able to have. And I think that'll really translate well into my races.
I went up to photograph Sahil Raj. You wouldn't know who he is. He graduated from Milpitas like 2 years ago. He runs for college, and I went up to go photograph him for, I think it's called WCC. I couldn't get over how cold all of the athletes for Alex's school was there, Portland Pilots. And I went and I introduced myself as Alex's father, and Alex wasn't running that race, but they're so cold. And then I came to realize it's like, they don't want to talk. They're in their headspace. They're really, really focused right now, and talking is nothing but a distraction. So I learned they're not being cold. They're not being rude. They're locked in right now.
My coach told me that my freshman year, he was lucky to get like even a few words out of me, like the entire 2 or 3 hours before the race. And he's told me I've come a long way. I definitely still get nervous before races. I've seen some improvement there, I think.
Did you manage any injuries this coming year?
Yeah, so I mentioned this earlier. I did have a few injuries. Up through freshman through junior year, I was able to kind of stay healthy. But this year I dealt with, I think, a quad strain and then kind of a random knee injury. I still don't really know where that came from. Early on, I would say like late March. And then I was also just like sick for about a month. And I just had a lingering cough. It was hard to breathe. I don't really know what was going on there.
Oh, God. You're like guest number 5 or 6. That was probably walking pneumonia.
Yeah, it did not feel great. I was trying to train through it, but all the workouts felt so much harder. I think there's definitely something going around earlier this year.
It ripped through the entire track. scene. Everybody had walking pneumonia. Taking antibiotics didn't do anything to it. Number 4 or 5. 5 or 6, actually. How'd you deal with that hamstring pull?
That one was, I would say, honestly, the most minor of the 3 things I just mentioned. I'm definitely the type of person who likes to do more and has like struggled with prioritizing relaxation and like recovery in the past. So I was running on it when I probably shouldn't have been, prolong the process a little bit more. I just talked with my coach and we agreed that I should take, I think it was only maybe like a week or a week and a half off of like the regular practice schedule and just doing more things for like rehab. And that one went away pretty quickly. Beyond just like the physical aspect of it, I think it was really mentally challenging to like watch all my teammates getting faster, watch the other athletes in CCS drop great times while I was still kind of sidelined. So.
That leads me to another question. I find it really strange. Do you find that taking a week off impacts your performance significantly?
I would say, especially in like the 400 and a little bit in the 200, I think taking a week off kind of impacts like my aerobic capacity, like my lactic tolerance. I think for like pure sprint events like the 100, it's a little more lenient because you're not going to lose all of like your explosive strength just from missing a week. I was lucky that those injuries happened earlier on in the season, so I was able to kind of recover and bounce back and still have like a decent season. But yeah, I do think those few weeks that I had to take off did kind of take a toll.
Aiden would talk about, it was new to me, a new concept. He would talk about his cardio strength and his like strength. He said, I'm really strong. My cardio's not that strong right now. I would say that you're like just a pure strength athlete, 100%. Cardio, you're completely anaerobic. Would you agree with that? That's why I was surprised to see that you ran the 800, because the 800 is starting to get aerobic.
Yeah, and that's why I think I have, if I were to try to pursue like more distance events, I definitely would be able to get faster there because there would be a whole new aspect of the sport that I would be able to like hone and improve to get faster. Yeah, I think where I am right now running up through the 400, it is mostly strength based.
How do you train as a pure strength sprinter?
Yeah, so I would say during the season, I have practice or a meet like 5 or 6 times a week. Usually practice will look like tempo, which is just like aerobic capacity one day, like a lactic workout one day, acceleration, which is really short explosive work, and then max velocity, which is kind of like acceleration, but just a little bit longer.
How many times? By acceleration, I take it you do a practice sprint.
Yeah, so acceleration and block work usually goes together.
How many of those can your body take in a day?
Honestly, my coach or my high school coach lived by the philosophy that like for explosive work like that, once you start to slow down, it's not really worth doing anymore. Like it's not going to help your speed that much. So usually for those speed work days, we would only do maybe 4 or 5 reps max.
And then do you do miles at all?
Like not really.
You don't go out for a run?
I don't.
Okay.
During the season, I was also lifting 2 or 3 times a week, just based on where we were in the competition season.
So leg presses. Okay, so a lot of your workout happens at the gym then?
Yeah, so it's a lot of like explosive works, like squats. I've started doing like power cleans this summer, like incorporating some plyometrics as well.
How much can you squat?
Ooh, I haven't actually tested my 1 rep max. I would guess it's probably around like 150. I don't think it's that impressive, but
I think that's impressive considering I'm not going to make a guess at your weight, but that's considerably more than what you weigh. I know that.
Yeah. It is.
You made it to the Nike Outdoor Nationals last year, but you didn't go this year. Was it because of the injuries you were dealing with?
Junior year, I think I was coming off like a really great high school season, so I kind of wanted to capitalize on like the good shape I was in. Also for like recruiting purposes, it was right in the middle of recruiting season, and I think it was like really great for visibility to be at a national meet like that. This year, I would have qualified with my times. I was just feeling a little burnt out, kind of disappointed with how the season went, so I just decided to finish my season off at state. And also college training is going to start earlier than I would have for high school, so I really wanted to give myself like a full break.
Peter Malone, I just finished interviewing him. We just put it up today, like a few hours ago, and he was always disappointed with his times. And I looked at his times and I was like, these times are really good, Peter. And he's like, yeah, but look at my times the previous year. And it looks like you kind of had a similar experience.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think I have historically been really happy when I PR, and this season I think was just a lot of comparison to my junior year self, and just not being able to get back to that shape was a little disheartening. It gives myself a lot more room to grow in college. That's what I've been telling myself. So.
You're running for Stanford.
I'm so excited.
You're going to be doing more of the same then, I take it, like the 100, 200, and 400 for them?
I think so. Stanford does have a really strong 800 team. There is a chance I get moved up. I would just kind of have to talk with the coaches, but I do really like the long sprints. So
the long sprints, so the 400. Yeah. I hope your seasons that you have at Stanford are going to be really, really good. When do you start training with them?
I think we're going to be starting training as soon as the quarter starts, so late September. The head sprints coach actually is coaching the men's sprints and hurdles team for the upcoming Tokyo World Championships. So he's going to be pretty busy up until school starts.
Have you met them? Have you met the team? You met the coach?
Yeah, so I've met the coaches. I met some of the team. I've sat in on a few practices, gone out to athlete dining with a few of the sprinters. But yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone officially when school starts.
Cool. I love the picture of you on the bridge with the little Stanford graduation hat, the symbol. That was really awesome. What will you be majoring in?
I'm currently thinking of majoring in human biology. We don't have to declare our major until the end of sophomore year, so I have a while to think about it. I'm really interested in neuroscience. Stanford doesn't have a neuroscience major, so I kind of have to figure out which major would be best suited to pursue a career in that.
Really? You want to be a surgeon?
I'm not really sure whether I would want to go to med school or just do more research-focused stuff. I think that's something I'll have to figure out over the next few years. But yeah, that definitely does pique my interest.
That's amazing. You've been traveling.
I have.
You went on a senior trip, and I assume that a lot of the posts that you did on Instagram were from that trip?
Yeah, so my friend group actually went to Tahoe for a senior trip, 12 of us. So we have a pretty big friend group. But yeah, we did some whitewater rafting, some hiking, some zip lining. So yeah, it was really fun to kind of get away from home, be out in nature with some of my closest friends. And yeah, we're all leaving for college soon. So it really made the time we had together feel a lot more special.
It makes me think of Vitamin C's Graduate. Friends forever. Did you go to Emerald Bay at all?
Yeah, we did. So we hiked down there, spent a day at the beach. It was really beautiful.
So we have a place up there too.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, yeah, we have a condo up there, and we bring the canoe along with us. When I say we, I mean my sons and I. We bring the canoe along, and then we go to a beach that's to the east of Emerald Bay. And I have always wanted to canoe around in Emerald Bay, but when we get there, you have to be careful. The wind will sweep you out into the middle of the lake. So you have to stay near the shore, because if you get out in the middle of the lake, you can't fight the wind. And then it's that same wind. We come along and I want to go into Emerald Bay. I can't get past the wind. As soon as we get right around the cusp, it's whoosh, and it just pushes us out, out into the lake. So I've seen Emerald Bay. I've never canoed in it. It really is gorgeous.
It is. Yeah, the weather at Tahoe can be really crazy. We actually experienced that on the day before we left. It was a really clear day. We had just gotten back from a hike, and then all of a sudden it started to get really cloudy, and it just started hailing. And we were staying in an Airbnb with a wooden roof, and I honestly thought it was going to cave in on us. It was crazy. It was a full-on hailstorm. We were kind of trapped in the house for a couple hours.
Wow. Yeah, I was working up there. I was working remotely, and there was a snowstorms coming, and I had to tell my manager. I'm retired now, but at the time I was working, I had to tell my manager, I have to go get ready for the storm. And he's like, I don't understand what you mean. I said, you don't understand. You have to have everything you need, because there is no going out.
Yeah.
Right? When Tahoe weather goes bonkers like that, there's no going anywhere. You hunker down.
Yeah.
Heavenly Village. That's where we have our condo.
Okay.
Who do you look up to?
This is a little bit of a basic answer, but I would say one of my biggest role models in the sport is definitely Sydney McLaughlin. I've just always really admired her, her composure, and also she has beautiful, flawless form that I really aspire to get to. Yeah, now that she's moving down to just the open 400, I'm really excited to see what she's going to do this year. I would also say Gabby Thomas, specifically because I think she got a neuroscience degree at Harvard, and then she ended up being an Olympic champion in the 200.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that really, it proves that you can be successful as a student at a prestigious university and also be a really strong athlete at the same time. So hoping to get to that level if I can.
A student in 8th grade is going to become a freshman and is thinking of taking up sprinting sports. What advice does Hannah Rutherford have for that student?
Yeah, so I would say even though track is considered an individual sport, I think the running community and the relationships that you're able to build up with your teammates are one of my favorite things about the sport. So if you're looking to make new friends or just meet new people, track is definitely a great way to do that. Speaking on the performance side, I would say that one of the biggest takeaways I've had from this season is that progress isn't always going to be linear. Everyone's going to have setbacks and off days, and you just kind of have to accept that that's part of the sport. Understand that as you get better and as you get to that higher level, it's going to be harder to improve by the same margin. So yeah, as long as you stick with it, the effort that you put in is going to manifest itself eventually.
Yeah, every second you shave off is harder than the previous second, right?
Yeah.
I love you guys. I really do. The answers that we get are so all over the map to that question, and I love your answer was just beautiful. I really like that. Do you have any questions for Althouse Media Group?
I guess how did you and Chris get into making this podcast and just like taking videos and taking photos.
Fun story. We have had Alex and Jordan Althouse. When they went into school, Alex went into school and he had been a basketball player for a small private school. And then he found out when he got to Milpitas High School with 5,000 people strong that he wasn't squat on the court. So a friend told him, come run track and cross country with me. Then Jordan came the year after. They're only 16 months apart. And Jordan started running track and cross country. And we realized it's like, hey, these people are great people. They're all going to college. They're all getting great grades. They don't party. They're great people. And so my wife, she's a perfectionist in some senses. And she's like, I'm going to get every single one of these races. At first it was just our kids. Then it was, I'm going to get everything for the team. Then it was, I'm going to get everything at the event, all on an iPhone.
Wow. Okay.
And she had nothing on her YouTube channel. So she started posting things up there and people started really watching that stuff. And now she's up to 275,000 views. I keep saying she has 700 followers. It turns out it's more like 690, but she's got a growing fan base. And we were doing this, and then when Jordan got to his senior year, I believe this was last year, the whole team at Milpitas was just looking kind of bummed. They were looking down. Finally, one of them said, well, I guess that's it for the pictures and the videos of all the events and everything. And we just kind of looked at each other, and then we looked at the team and we said, do you want us to keep going? And everybody was like, no way! And so we continue to do what we're doing. And as I've said, on the YouTube channel, we keep building followers. We keep building things. We have parents coming up to us saying thank you that we've never even met, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we just kind of caught this bull by the tail and we're just flying along with it and we're having a blast. My wife came to me and said, I have nothing in my off-season content. Can you help me out? And she's kind of an introvert. I'm more of an extroverted kind of guy. I like meeting people and talking to them and stuff. And so I came up with this podcast.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of what we're all about, what we're doing. This is Hannah Rutherford. She set so many records in her 4 years at school. She's been accepted to run at Stanford. She's going to go run for them doing sprinting. She's an amazingly humble and all business athlete that I think we should all admire. I mean, that's much more admirable than somebody who hoses off their shoes with a fire extinguisher. And you're a really charming young lady. Thank you for coming on the Handoff.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was an amazing experience.
See ya.
Bye.